Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please?
Well, I don't know who that is, but this video is going to be about an article that Zsa Zsa wrote that I got to comment on. I wasn't really known for teasing, so this video may surprise you and hopefully make you laugh. Zsa Zsa writes, "What's wrong with American men? Not a thing. That can't be changed. Now it's my move. My theme song is Stay As Sweet As You Are. Now, understand from the beginnings that I never met a man I didn't like, especially American men. Aren't they wonderful? Their only fault is they're too good to us women." This is some twist. Before I came to this country from Hungary, I thought American men were big, strong cowboys of the movies. The men who had fought their way across the continent my school books described.
I worked for 4 months in Hungary, and I looked up the Gabor family, and they lived in Transylvania, which has a reputation that all vampires, bloodsuckers came from, but they weren't. Yes, they had the ability. But they didn't!
But what did I find when I got here? Domesticated males living under the domination of women. Oh, so you arrived here after your sister did. They told me everything here was 50-50 between American men and their wives. I found that some of my women friends here go to bed with hair curlers on and cold cream on their faces. And so what? And imagine, on top of this, next morning their husbands have to cook their own breakfast, do the shopping, take care of the children, wash the dishes. I ask you, is that 50-50? Of course not. He should count the laundry too. Well, being able to sleep gives him a chance to relax and be ready for these chores in the morning. Any man who puts on an apron, except as a joke, loses his virility. No more than a woman like Marlene Dietrich who puts on slacks loses her femininity.
Thank God I'm not like the average housewife. Thank God. They're always bragging that they're great in the kitchen. Believe me, there are other rooms in the house I like to be great in.
I surely wouldn't like to kiss my husband with an apron tied around him.
Jean, darling, I don't know how I missed marrying you. You're everything I'm looking for in a man. You're handsome, you're Italian, you're rich, and you're not so bright.
Naturally then, when the American wife comes home from her office or the beauty parlor feeling like Marilyn Monroe and finds her husband done up in an apron and up to his elbows in dishwater, she runs out to the movies and falls madly in love with the first He-Man on the screen, some Humphrey Bogart who won't even whistle at a girl. Thanks, but leave me out of this. I like men in or out of aprons. The American men are getting a bad deal, and it's their fault. Whether we women know it or not, we don't like to run our own lives. Take the Spanish women. In Spain, the women don't own any property. They don't have any bank accounts, and they're happy. I can just see you settling down in Spain. Don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not against a nice private secret little account on the side, or some money in a stocking hidden away carefully from the husband. After all, one feels so much more a woman if one has some silly little secrets from one's husband. But where can you hide anything in a joint bank account? So you left Spain fast. Why do American men tell their wives every step they take each day? That takes away from the mystery, which is so necessary in a relationship between a man and a woman. Which, let's face it, is hopeless enough as it is. Oh, of course. It's up to the woman to bring out the man's masculinity, to bring out the best in him in every way. Practical illustration. The other day, I went shopping with a married couple for a pair of shoes for the husband. He tried on the shoes and turned to his wife and said, "Darling," he said, "are these shoes too tight for me?" Where do you find people who make such convenient but unbelievable examples?
The preacher said to Zsa Zsa, "Do you take this man?" And she said, "Yes, darling, for everything he's worth."
men must live up to the title, Mr., which is an abbreviation for master. But a man must not abuse his rights. He must not cheat on his wife or deceive her. That would be tragic. Yet it's all right for the woman to deceive with her little secrets. Come on, let's level a little. He just must be the master in his house. When a man is firm with his wife, a woman is happier. Then when he brings her a present, it means something to her. Perhaps it is kind of a laziness on the American man's side that causes his wife to get away with murder. One of my girlfriends complained the other day that her husband's secretary calls her up to tell her that her birthday is about to come up, that she should choose herself a birthday present for so and so much money. What's wrong with this? She might want a bottle of perfume instead of the comfortable pair of bedroom slippers. This is a tremendous mistake, because my friend would be much happier with half the present if her husband had brought it home and surprised her.
The thing that amazes me about her tonight is she's been here 10 minutes and hasn't reported a robbery yet.
Take a man who spots a pretty girl at the party. What does he do? Immediately he rushes up to her, compliments her, asks her for a date, gives her a drink, proposes, and marries her. 1, 2, 3, just like that. As a result, American men are easy to get, but they're just as hard to hold. American men aren't so hard to hold. Have you ever tried a half Nelson? Naturally, if a man proposes to a girl the first time he sees her just because she's pretty, in 6 months' time he'll have more propositions in mind with the next pretty girl he sees. Marriage should be a very serious business where both parties know each other for at least a year. I don't find it always takes a year to get acquainted. I don't think these spur-of-the-moment marriage proposals of the American male are so flattering after all. Last summer I asked an American friend of mine in Paris how she was enjoying France. "Oh, wonderful," she exclaimed. "Here a man takes you out for a luncheon and buys you champagne, takes you out to cocktails and buys you perfume and champagne, then takes you to dinner and dances with you, compliments you and buys you champagne. And at the end of the evening, when you're dizzy with champagne, he doesn't even ask you to marry him. It's perfect." What's so different about Paris? It happens here too. Stick around a while and be patient.
We got so many wedding rings on her finger when I kissed her hand tonight. I thought I was kissing a package of lifesavers.
American men are mathematicians. They believe that the shortest distance is a straight line between 2 points. And they're so right. And that's why they don't make points. They want the shortcut, and we women like the detours. Give me the main road where the pavement is good. Men may fall in love with their eyes, but women fall in love with their ears. Every woman likes small talk in large doses. Yet American men never make small talk, only big talk, big business, or how about it, kid, let's get hitched. I like a more direct approach. Imagine taking up time for talk. European men are not nearly so good looking, not so big and strong with such broad shoulders and good teeth, but they know how to keep their women interested. In Europe, if a man is interested in a girl, he starts off by ignoring her. This approach is dull to start with. It could only get duller. And later on, maybe a couple of interesting insults may help his case. So the girl is intrigued, mystified. Why doesn't he notice me, she asks herself. Naturally, she wants to win him over. I don't agree. Note to men. Women still want to be pursued. But the European man, instead of asking for a date right off, acts indifferent, waits, and then sends some flowers first. Women never forget flowers, especially when there's a roomful, with a charming but not too flattering note. For some of us, a long, low whistle still moves us. Then he waits and he waits, sometimes until the girl gets married, before he asks her out. But when and if he does ask her to marry him, his mind is really made up, and they both think of the marriage as a lifelong relationship. Marriage is like freedom or democracy. Unless you work at it night and day, you lose it. Does it have to be work? In particular, I think when an American man calls on a girl, he should not try to outdress the girl with loud neckties and rainbow-colored socks. I thought you said men were to be independent. Now you're putting him in the apron again. Why shouldn't he dress as he pleases? And the scent of his hair oil should not clash with her perfume. A man should try to look serious and dignified if he wants a girl to respect him. And American men are so well built that they don't need all those falsies in the shoulders of their coats. I'm told girls wear them. Why shouldn't men if they want to?
Zsa is the Hungarian word for bosom, and that's why she's called Zsa Zsa.
We women like good smells. I like my men to smell of sandalwood, leather, or tobacco. A good he-man scent. If the man doesn't live around the stables, or carve sandalwood, or smoke a pipe, he can still get lovely masculine colognes that will do the trick. But he shouldn't use too much cologne. Things like that can make a man distingué, make him interesting. There are other things that make a man interesting. The right cologne isn't going to do it. There's one thing I really like about American men. Their sense of humor. I knew that sooner or later, and you did it later, you'd have to admit this. They always keep a stiff upper lip when we women criticize them, just because they bring the bacon home and even cook it. So it's just because American men are so good-humored that I think all of us women should protect them. We should give them back the keys to the money vault, after having duplicate keys made, of course.
She doesn't care for a man's company unless he owns it.
We should take the aprons off them and put them in the place of honor in the best armchair. You're speaking of a small minority of American men who got lost somehow along the way. Then we will have strong men again.
I'm Batman.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't recognize your face, but your physique was very familiar.
Personally, I never yet met a strong man whom a silly feminine smile couldn't weaken. So don't worry, girls. Victory is ours. But I thought the man was supposed to win.
Where would this world be without laughter? Tonight we found out.
The prosecution roasts.